Welcome, everyone. This is Recovery Dharma. My name is Julia. I'm one of the Spokane Sangha facilitators, and today it is my privilege to talk to you and share with you um, this beautiful meditation. Many years ago, back in the early 90s, I was making very intentional preparations to leave a religious practice of my youth, a Catholic practice that I had been devoted to, that I grew up in, my whole family, obviously, and my parents were very devoted Catholics all of their lives. And I knew that practice was no longer going to be for me. It was no longer going to sustain where I was wanting to go with spirituality. And so I was working with a priest that I had befriended to mindfully and with positive intention leave. And part of it was I had come into the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh by way of a beautiful book of his called Peace is Every Step. And I had decided at that time to become a student of Thich Nhat Hanh, to listen to his teachings. And I did that I still do it. So that was back in 1992. I broke my mother's heart when I left the church. And she was very confused as to why I would A, leave, and B, take up this Eastern practice. And I decided that there was nothing I was ever going to be able to say to my mother that would make her understand my motivation, that I actually just had to live this practice. I had to live in such a way that what I believed, what I was inspired to engage, the person that I aspired to be, I had to just live in a way that my mother could see it, view it, and someday maybe accept it. It took her 20 years. 20 years. And one day, out of the blue, my mother said to me, and it will make me cry. She said to me, I think you've become the best Christian I've ever known. Thich Nhat Hanh made me a better Christian. And I think that would make him happy. And I know it makes my mother happy. So with that, I share with you Thich Nhat Hanh.
the sound of this bell penetrates deep into the cosmos. Even in the darkest spots, living beings are able to hear it clearly, so that all suffering in them cease, understanding come to their heart, and they transcend the path of sorrow and death. The universal Dharma door is already open. The sound of the rising tide is heard clearly. The miracle happens. A beautiful child appears in the heart of a lotus flower. One single drop of this compassionate water is enough to bring back the refreshing spring to our mountains and rivers. Nghe chuông phiền não tan mây khói, lặng thân an miệng mỉm cười. Hơi thở nương chuông về chánh niệm, vườn tâm hoa tuệ xinh tươi. Listening to the bell, I feel the afflictions in me begin to dissolve. My mind calm, my body relaxed. A smile is born on my lips. Following the sound of the bell, my breath brings me back to the safe island of mindfulness. In the garden of my heart, the flowers of peace bloom beautifully.
friends. Thank you so much for the generosity of your hearts, allowing me an opportunity to share that chant with you, which has been so foundational to my practice over the years. I have been of service to 4 major communities throughout my life, and this practice and this chant and this idea motivating this chant has sustained me through them all. And within each community of service, I have been able to explore the limitless qualities we hear about in Buddhism. I was of service to a community of people who could not see or hear, and from them I learned loving kindness. I was of service to a pediatric cancer community because my own daughter is a cancer survivor. And in that community, in those years of service, I learned about compassion. I have been involved in serving a community of women and highlighting their relationship to the cycles and seasons found in the earth and cosmos. And there, I learned so much about joy. And for the past 9 years, I have been of service to the recovery and support community. It has changed my life, complemented my life in ways that are so difficult to express. And from this community, I have learned the depth of equanimity. All of this because I had the courage to listen to my own heart and risk breaking the heart of my mother. But I broke it in such a way that encouraged it to be open and for her understanding to come by me simply living peacefully, step by step. It wasn't anything that I had to do to gain her trust. I didn't have to be a good person for her to see me. I just had to live in such a way that the universal Dharma door remained open. It's always open. And in that place, I was able to do as Thich Nhat Hanh says, which is to cultivate a garden within my heart so the flowers of peace can bloom beautifully. And this is what we do in this practice, even in the dark realm that is addiction. We can bring the light of our own peace, of our own goodness, of our own wisdom to amend the soil, to plant seeds of beauty, wonder, and healing, so that in all of your hearts, the flowers of peace are sure to bloom beautifully. Your generosity, the way you give in receiving me personally, and these teachings and this perspective is impeccable. The way this community supports the Spokane Sangha financially and materially is mind-boggling. On behalf of this Sangha that wraps all around the world, my heart is yours. I'd like to end our practice today with a dedication of merit, and I'm going to be sharing with you this dedication of merit every single meeting for this month. And it is the chant that you heard today. May the sound of this bell penetrate deep into the cosmos. Even in the darkest spots, living beings are able to hear it clearly, so that all suffering in them cease. Understanding comes to the heart, and they transcend the path of sorrow and death. The universal Dharma door is already open. The sound of the rising tide is heard clearly. The miracle happens. A beautiful child appears in the heart of a lotus flower. One single drop of this compassionate water is enough to bring back the refreshing spring to the mountains and rivers. Listening to the bell, I feel the afflictions in me begin to dissolve. My mind calm, my body relax. A smile is born on my lips. Following the sound of the bell, my breath brings me back to the safe island of mindfulness. In the garden of my heart, the flowers of peace bloom beautifully. Thank you for your beautiful practice. I hope your connection with your ancestors, with friends and family who have left this life and are supporting you from the other side. May you feel their presence clearly. May you hear the echoes of their love and support and delight in you. May it come through and resonate in your heart and mind as harmony, as peace, as joy. We'll see you next time, friends. Namaste.